Hello everyone and welcome to another royal reading. First of all, apologies for missing yesterday through unfortunately having to attend a committee meeting that went on and on and on and on, and there was no way that I could make time in my very busy schedule at the moment after that meeting to do readings for you. I do apologize, but I'm back here today and I have the Crow Tarot on the table for the readings today, and looking at, in this one, going to be looking at that ridiculous book of Harry's again. And I was thinking I should make my own playlist for Harry's book, maybe call it Story Time, Tall Tales or something like that. But anyway, we're going to be doing a 5-card reading, looking at the book again, and the rumor that yet again the book has been delayed because of the truth bombs in the book, that Harry has written his own truth. Of course, Meghan and Harry very partial to that concept of their own subjective truth, but apparently he's got cold feet about some of the clingers that he's dropping in that book, and he has held it back from publication yet again. So that's what we're going to be reading on today. But before I shuffle and lay the cards out for this 5-card reading, I just want to acknowledge the passing of Ashley from Danger Zone was her channel a long time ago on YouTube, and I heard about it today. I just want to send sympathy to the family and to people who followed her channel. She was one of the very early people that I first discovered when I started to think, what on earth is going on with Meghan and Harry? And nobody else I knew around in my real world was remotely interested, and I was fascinated and horrified in equal measure. And there were some real path pavers, early people who very bravely went out and sought the truth at some cost to themselves, and Ashley was one of them. So I just want to acknowledge that and to thank her for the efforts she made for truth, and I know she suffered for it. I know she suffered horribly for it. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. But anyway, we're back to our reading now with the Crow Tarot, and we're going to look at this book. And I want to know who's in Harry's sights with these truth bombs. And there are all kinds of candidates, from Prince Philip to Her Majesty the Queen to Charles and Camilla and Catherine and William. That's just in the royal family. Then there are the friends, Guy Pelly, Inskip, the from Straubensees, all of them. His old drinking buddies, party mates, naked billiards in Vegas, those guys could also be in his sights. The ex-girlfriends, Chelsea and what's her name? Gone blank now. The other lovely blonde, Cressida. They could also be in his sights. Apparently they are. Apparently he is going to be dropping them in it, or thinking of dropping them in it. So I'm going to be looking. Oops, we've got the whole deck out now. I think we're ready. I'll put the deck back together again. I haven't used it for a while. It often happens when I haven't used a deck for a while. It says, hey, you need to just imprint yourself on the cards again properly before we'll read. And so I want to know who, I want to know what is the nature of this truth bombs, why he's now suddenly getting cold feet. What is it about these truth bombs, the consequences? Why is he allegedly getting cold feet in the outcome? And let's throw some allegedly, sprinkle allegedlys all over, and remind you that this is a tarot reading for entertainment purposes, or just my opinion, or speculation, rumor and gossip for entertainment purposes. Disclaimer in the box below, and let's get to it. 5 cards, Crow Tarot. Ooh, ouch. Underlying energy is a 3 of Swords. 3 of Swords in reverse. It's a card of betrayal. Real anguish in the 3 of Swords. Always, you can see how those swords have literally gone through that heart, pierced it. The card is in the reverse, and it could be that he's feeling some hesitation about really betraying somebody, a reluctance to betray, or realizing that there's no going back if he does do this act of betrayal, because reversals usually are the opposite, but can also mean intensification of the energy of the card. Those are the basic meanings, and it's a matter of interpretation of surrounding cards. So either he is reluctant to do this damage because he thinks it's going to just destroy whatever relationship he's got, or he is really trying to recover from the hurt and the betrayal, and thinks this isn't going to help him, his own self, or the harm that he could do to another relationship. That's the energy that I'm getting off this card. It might change depending on the other cards that show up in this reading. The real cards in this reading, this is the underlying energy that sits under the 5 cards. For those of you who are confused why I'm doing a 5-card reading with 6 cards. So the heart of the matter. What does universe want to tell us? What is the heart of the matter? The Strength card, that's the Harry and Meghan card. That is also healing and recovering from heartache, showing that you have learnt your lessons and you have grown wiser and stronger from a situation. Not wanting to sound like a whinger, and that's come back to me, the ginger whinger. He apparently, allegedly, is very aware that people are sick of all the moaning and the whining and the woe is meing that he has done. And he doesn't want to come across as a whinger in his book. He wants to show himself as a strong and independent character, when he is being throttled. Normally the Strength card, there is a woman who is strangling the lion. Well, she's taming the lion. So good luck with that. The Harry and Meghan card, it's become more and more, the Strength card, for me, a codependent card. He doesn't want to show himself as being pathetic and weak and whiny and codependent. So he's having doubts about whether he wants to reveal all this heartache and betrayal, because it will portray him in a weak and pathetic light. And already the British public, by and large, has said not interested, not going to buy the book, go away. And when you read the comments in the Daily Mail, I occasionally dip in and look at the most popular comments, and it's always go away, tired of you, leave us alone, fed up, that kind of thing. So he's lost his audience, and he needs to get it back by showing he's a leader, somebody you can trust and follow and look up to. So, who's in his sights? Can the cards give us an indication of who the truth bombs might be about? 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands. It's not a person. It's not a person, a particular person. It's more a fast and furious energy, the 8 of Wands. It's communication. It is unblocking, unleashing after a period of being blocked, and suddenly this all just pours out in a torrent. And it's more a question, I think, that he got a bit carried away and possibly has really just laid it on with a trowel. His grievances, his sob stories, how hard his life was and how terrible it all was. Because it is this unblocking and this unleashing. It's literally telling everything to the ghostwriter in the minutiae of his life, from every, when he stubbed his toe, when he was first learning to ride his bicycle and his father didn't rescue him quickly enough and let him fall and graze his knee, that kind of level of ridiculousness. I'm getting that it's ridiculous. It's too much. It's an individual hasn't popped up here, which is interesting, because I was expecting there are many there's a cast of millions that he could possibly be targeting, but it's not showing up with one specific person. It's volume, it's quantity, not quality here. I think it's a spattergun approach. They're all in his sights, and they're all covered in a layer of what in this book. What specifically is the truth bomb about? If universe wants to tell us it. So far it's been vague. Well, it can't be about herself, the devil. How I wish it was. How funny that would be. And what a bestseller it would be if he actually wrote the truth about the dear wife. The wife. But no. The devil is about toxicity and addiction. I think that the truth bomb is about his drinking, his drugs, his issues with that, and it makes sense. This card makes an enormous amount of sense. It was also the Capricorn card, just by the way, but I don't think we're targeting the only Capricorn that really features, which is Catherine. No, this is the what, not the who card. And now I've lost my train of thought. Yes, the ghost writer who dips in and out in the energy. He dips in and out. He's engaged and then he's not engaged. He's optimistic and then he's pessimistic. And it makes sense because this book, Harry Blows Hot and Cold, is very inconsistent. And he's very inconsistent in his energy whenever I read it. He's just a completely inconsistent character, a weak character rather than a strong character, in my opinion, as a tarot reader. But the devil is something that would resonate with the ghostwriter, J.R. Moehringer, who has his own issues allegedly with addiction, is very into the 12-step program, and has written about it before. So I think it is going to be about his partying, his past with his friends. Nobody helped him. So the whole lot are going to be implicated. Really, when I said the cast of hundreds or thousands or even millions that could be implicated, everybody from top down is going to be blamed for not helping him with his addiction issues, not helping him until the devil came along, until herself came along and showed him the way and saved him. And he was a drunk. And Lady C has talked about this on her channel quite extensively, that this is going to be a book about addiction, about his drinking problem, about how he took to drink in a massive way when his mother was killed so tragically in that tunnel in Paris. And the father, Charles, of course, absent father, useless father, according to Harry, provided a bar at Highgrove, I think it was at Highgrove, for the boys to drink at, so that they would be kept, safely at home rather than going out with their loutish behaviour and being subject to public scrutiny. Thought he was doing a sensible thing by having I think it was called the H bar at Highgrove, where them and the boys and their mates could come and drink and do worse than just drinking. So I think it's all about that, and everybody's going to be blamed. William's going to be implicated, Catherine's going to be implicated, Camilla, the Queen, Prince Philip, everyone's going to be blamed for it. But he's probably sitting and thinking, I'm trying to now portray myself as a businessman, as a thought leader, as a charismatic person, set up my own rival court in the US. Are people going to really take kindly to hearing about my drinking binges and how I vomited all over wherever and was unconscious and had to be hauled out of whatever and sent to rehab? Are they going to think, well, this is somebody I really want to do business with? Also because allegedly the problem continues. He hasn't really tamed the beast. The Strength card is about taming your demons. One of the main things about it is self-mastery, overcoming your weaknesses and your issues, and stiffening that spine, building character. This is about drinking. This is about drugs. This is about addiction. So, why is he hesitating? I have already answered that question in my own mind, but why is he hesitating now? Why has he got cold feet about this? Judgment is precisely, couldn't be clearer, precisely because he thinks that people will judge him for what he writes, and they'll say, well, you're a useless piece of whatever. How pathetic, how ridiculous, how useless you are. Your brother didn't succumb like you did to addiction. It's your own inherent character flaw, and so we're going to write you off. We're not interested. Judgment is also about awakening and revelation and sort of a moment of clarity. It's one of the cards. There are quite a few in tarot about moments of clarity. It's obviously something that the universe thinks we should all be having in our lives here on the wheel of karma. Moments of clarity are very important, self-awareness and all of that stuff. So interesting flag here, always in this card, in the Crow Tarot in the background. Very aware of being judged by the British public for this, and condemned out of hand for it. Wanting a second chance. He wants a second chance though, because that really is what Judgment is about. It's the second coming, getting another chance at it. He wants to come back into the royal fold. He really does. It's very clear to me as a reader, my opinion. He wants to come back into the fold. He wants to be loved again by the British public. And if he tells them all of this, they won't love him. and possibly also his treatment of his own family and his girlfriends and his friends, very poor by all accounts, when he was on these benders, and it doesn't look good. And he's aware of it. He's growing up at very slowly growing up. I say he's gone from maybe 12 and a half mental years, emotional development years, to 13, perhaps 11 and a half to 12. Let's not over egg the whole thing. So the outcome of this, what's going to happen, is Moring are going to have to do a massive edit. We get the Five of Swords. He's going to carry on in this state of mental conflict. He doesn't know which way he's going to go. Five of Swords is literally mental conflict, fighting your own demons. They've shown up loudly in this reading. He is going to wrestle with this for a while. Of course, the book might just drop, like Megan's podcast just dropped unexpectedly, because they do like to startle everybody with it without any forewarning. Don't soften things. Tom Bower's book, of course, we all got softened. We knew it was coming, and then there was excerpts released and stuff, usual thing. This could just drop unexpectedly, but in his own mind he's wrestling with it. He's tormented by this. I think writing this book has turned into a nightmare for him. He thought it was going to be a nightmare for the royals, but it's turned out to be a nightmare for himself, because he's having to look at things, and he's having to wrestle with things, and having to face his own demons and things that he hasn't actually faced. He thought he had. He's been in therapy for years. He's talked and talked about it, and in quite a patronizing way, and preached to all of us about mental health, but he himself has not yet mastered his own demons. And so that's the reading. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.